How is everyone doing today? And in this video, especially because we just got the Stream 4 version 1.2 in Zenless Zone Zero, we are going to see our brand new characters, which are Burnice and also Caesar, coming into the game. And by far, are these characters going to destroy the absolute crap about the meta that we know of today in Zenless Zone Zero? So today, in this video, I do want to look at Caesar and also Burnice's kit as we know so far in the stream and talk about how strong they are. They definitely look like they're going to be a crazy amount of value, especially Caesar, which we're going to be talking about most likely for the majority of the video, just because she adds a whole different aspect of what it means to be a defense character. And not only that, she just has a lot of really cool mechanics. Same thing with Burnice. She also seems really cool for this game. So I cannot wait to see what we're going to be looking at when we start looking over their kits. Before we get into all that, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, all the different type of stuff. And let me know if you've already summoned for Jane, or if you're looking towards Caesar, you're looking towards Burnice, or maybe even the drip marketed characters that might be coming super soon. But going ahead and talking about some of our first few characters, let's go ahead and start looking at Caesar. Now, Caesar is going to be a physical defense character, and it's pretty cool that we are getting another defense character, especially with how strong Seth is as of right now with the anomaly teams as a whole. So someone like Jane is able to absolutely love and benefit out of someone like Seth, and it's a pretty cool thing to see that defense characters are starting to get love, especially with a lot of people not enjoying as much of having Ben in the roster or using Ben at all. So it's a pretty cool thing to see that the defense role is getting pumped up with more units, because we previously only had one, and units that a lot of people are enjoying to use, especially with one being Seth and now with this one being Caesar. Now, the main thing I want to talk about with Caesar is that she looks exponentially cool with what she's able to do. And one of the things that she's able to do is she does have a perfect block or a perfect parry mechanic that is different from the one that we use to switch off of characters, and more so it is one that you are going to parry with Caesar herself, and then she's going to be able to not only block that move, stagger the enemy, and also give them a debuff, which is a pretty strong thing to have, especially in this game when there is almost an inevitable chance that you will be taking in these hits. And being able to save yourself some parry gauge, being able to use Caesar's parry instead, so you don't have to worry about using your parry gauge when these hard hits come out, or whenever there's a hit you feel like you don't really need to waste or switch into another character. It's a lot of really cool stuff that come with this mechanic. Not only that, when you do a perfect parry, you also will be debuffing the enemies around you, so it's not just the enemy that you parried, but the ones that are in the surrounding area, and this is really cool to see. Now, the main thing that I want to preface when it comes to Caesar and how absolutely insane she's about to be is mainly because when it comes about her shield, yeah, she's probably going to be one of the best units in the game by far, with her anti-interrupt for the shield being almost impenetrable. She is not taking any type of flinch. She is not getting staggered in any shape or way form. Her shield is literally a god mode shield, and this is going to be a whole new different level when it comes to what we've known with Seth and what we've known with Ben, where their shields are a little bit more like added health. Those are kind of just extra HP. In all honesty, you dwindle down that little shield that you get from your HP, and it allows you to be able to mitigate the damage you would take to your real HP. When you look at Caesar's shield, she has an actual shield. If you played Genshin Impact, this is very reminiscent of something like Zhongli's shield, where you pop it on and you take no damage at all. You don't get moved, you don't get staggered, you can continue doing DPS and not have to worry about all the things that the enemy is doing, because you have this much anti-interrupt on the shield that you have. And as we've seen from the stream as well, you are going to be getting increased attack for the person that is wearing the shield. So this is not only a debuff for being able to parry the enemies, but it's also a buff not only in shield and anti-interrupt, but also attack for the ally. This is a huge thing for not only the defense characters in this game, but also for Caesar to be able to buff up the defense role and being able to give them a crazy amount of value, especially what she's able to offer. Now, of course, we don't know absolutely everything in regards to what she has in her core passive, what she has in her team. Post editing me, I just noticed her team passive literally says when another character is either in the faction, so Sons of Kaladin, or when a character uses a defensive assist. So I'm pretty sure this means any character that has an actual parry works with Caesar, which I think is the most broken thing in the world. And it just means that maybe like 3 to 4 characters don't work with Caesar, and it's characters like Billy, characters like Grace, any of these characters that don't have an actual parry, and they kind of like do the little dodge or vital view mechanic where the time slows down and they just dodge, and that's pretty much it. These are the only characters that don't work, quote unquote, with Caesar. But realistically, Caesar works with everybody in the freaking game. But let's continue with the video. Passive, these things may allow her to be able to be universal. It may allow her to be in other team comps that may give buffs to certain characters that are a little bit weaker. There's a lot of things they can do with this character, but overall, seeing that she's able to have this nasty of a shield and also is able to provide debuffs and also buffs is a pretty huge thing for Zenless, and I can see her being a very big must pull for the future of this game. She's probably going to be that Zhongli of the game, where people pull her every single time she gets a rerun, or people pull her every single time she pops up, just because of how monumental this shield will be, not only for those that really just want to spam through the content, not really want to worry about what the enemies are doing, but also for those that play on mobile. This is a pretty big buff for y'all as well, so that y'all don't have to be as stressed out or as worried about the attacks coming to you, especially playing on mobile, because some people don't play as good on mobile versus PC, where they're more comfortable. Usually when you're playing on the go, you kind of want to be able to clear the content as is, and having Caesar on the account might be a pretty big buff for you. So no matter what, whether you're a PC player, whether you are a mobile player, whether you are someone who's just trying to play Zenless on the go, Caesar is going to be an enormous addition to the account, and I cannot wait to see what she's able to do besides the perfect parry, besides the dodge, besides the buffs and the debuffs. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening with having Caesar in the game. The next character is going to be my personal favorite, and that is going to be Burnice. Burnice is going to be a fire anomaly character, being able to not only apply a fat ton of fire anomaly with her flamethrowers, but being able to also allow yourself to be able to do some crazy moves with her. There's not really a lot that we gathered from the stream in regards to what she's able to do, but it does seem like she is going to be able to attack off field, because in the stream it says when squad mates attack enemies who are inflicted with the scorch effect, after burn will be triggered. So either this is extra damage happening off field, this is an extra debuff happening to the enemy, and if any of these are happening, also probably Burnice is probably going to be a super strong character alongside someone like Jane. As you may know, Anomaly right now is kind of taking over, and the reason I say this is because Anomaly really doesn't care about whether you are stunned, whether you are resistant to something or not. You're taking that reaction damage, and then you're also taking that disorder damage on top of it, with a little hint of extra days added on top of that. So as you know, Anomaly is getting stronger and stronger as is, and Anomaly is probably being one of the strongest damage dealing effects in the game, versus something like overtime DPS like something like Ellen, or even burst DPS like something like Zhu Yin. Jane is really strong, and looking at what Burnice is able to do, whatever she may have in her core passive or whatever she's able to have in her team passive, is going to play a pretty big part in looking at where Burnice can fit in. As you may know, most of these allies or most of these characters do work within the same faction. So having someone like Piper, who's also Anomaly, having someone like Lucy, and other characters that may be coming from the Caledon faction is going to be really nice to see. Not only that, we also have a character that is able to switch off of the active character. So if you are using the ult with Burnice, you can switch off and do a damage with any other character that is on your team while Burnice is proceeding with their ultimate, which means she's gonna have not only nasty off-field damage, nasty fire anomaly application, but so much CC as well added on top. I really do think 1.2 is going to be a mash of some of the best characters we've seen in a long while for ZZ, because yes, Ellen is really good and the ice team is still kicking, but Ellen has fallen to Zhu Yin with how explosive Zhu Yin's damage is. But of course, we know Zhu Yin needs a stunner like Qing Yi to be able to help out with the stun damage multiplier, being able to give her an exponential boost to her damage. And now we have characters like Jane, we have characters like Burnice, who are going to absolutely disorder the crap out of all these enemies, and also being able to proc not only burn, but also being able to proc the physical assault as well. And not only that, we have someone like Caesar, who's able to give us an impenetrable shield with a nasty amount of debuffs, nasty amount of buffs, and also an attack buff for us with a crap ton of anti-interrupt. There's so much happening right now in ZZZ, and the meta, as I've always been saying, is changing with every patch, and these characters are only going to make other characters stronger and stronger and stronger. And of course, we are going to be talking about these characters in specific in another video, with one whole video being talked about for someone like Caesar, for teams, for build, all the different type of stuff. And same thing goes for Burnice. We're also going to be talking about, because yes, we also did get new disc drives, which is something I do want to talk about as well. There's so many things that happen in this 1.2 live stream that I'm very excited to talk about, and I cannot wait to be able to make a video on. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I'll see y'all guys in the next one, and peace.